We are back for another episode of Righties Rage. Now, I have a hypothetical question to ask you. There are several countries around the world that have nuclear capabilities, just like the United States. What if one of those other countries decided that America shouldn't have nuclear missiles? What would they do? Would they attack America? Would they bomb America the way we bombed Iran? What if China or Russia decided that United States shouldn't have nuclear weapons? Could the same thing happen to us? Could someone drop a bomb into the middle of the United States? We did not ask for this war. No one asked the American people if they wanted this war. Suppose someone drops a bomb into the middle of your neighborhood because of something that our president did, that we had no knowledge beforehand what was going to happen. How would you feel if that type of destruction was brought on upon you or your family and you lost loved ones because of a war that someone else started?
Statements that we read over the day from the National Security Council, from the President, from the Foreign Ministry, from the IRGC, and much more. It wants to re-establish its posture as a regional power. Over the past months, since the beginning of the war in Gaza until this moment, Iran has been losing enemies, losing arms, and has been feeling as if it's being contained within its own borders. This war reestablished its own presence across the region once again. So Iran wouldn't want to lose what it gained, even if the gains it had in this war were mainly on the image and the narrative side.
Okay, thanks so much for talking us through all of that, Ali Hashim, for us there in Tehran. Going to go straight to Washington, D.C., where our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett, is standing by for us. And we heard a little earlier on some of Donald Trump's remarkable comments as he left the White House. I mean, really angry, considering he's talking about one of his closest allies in Israel. Can you just talk us through exactly what he said and the reaction to it?
Yeah, well, the reaction, I'll tell you right now, has already been one of understanding. Up on Capitol Hill, Speaker Johnson saying that the profanity-laced comments that the U.S. president made as he was departing Air Force One, or rather going on to Marine One from the White House, it just underscores the frustration he feels with Israel in particular, and to a lesser extent Iran, over the fact that he had worked so hard to get a ceasefire in place only to see it immediately violated. Now, the U.S. president said in his comments that he believes that Iran unintentionally fired a rocket or missile into Israel, and then Israel in turn responded by attacking in a full payload. And the U.S. president said he was very unhappy with that, and he believed that it was in violation of the ceasefire. So we know that the U.S. president now is, as he boarded Marine One, that he, in fact, had a phone call with the Israeli prime minister. It is being reported, and something the U.S. president said as he was boarding, he said he was going to go take care of that, because immediately after, he posted on Truth Social, the ceasefire is in effect. In other words, I've taken care of this. So the U.S. president, not happy, particularly frustrated, perhaps learning just how shaky ceasefires can be in the Middle East, and looking for this very fragile one now to hold.
And now, like I say, look at that. Look at the images of that. Now, you imagine if that happened at Anacostia. Imagine if they dropped a bomb or something like that happened in the middle of downtown D.C. while your family is on vacation. And you had nothing to do with this. This is their destruction. This is the games that our president is playing. We are not a part of this. We asked for no part of this. and we are involved in this. Now, I asked Grok, if Iran attacked America, where would they likely attack first? And this is a direct answer that is given. It says, given Iran's current military capabilities, they can not directly attack the U.S. mainland with conventional weapons like ballistic missiles. They lack intercontinental ballistic missiles. Instead, seemingly that their first attack on America would be a cyber attack. So again, they would try to do a cyber attack, which means they could attack our banks, the ATMs. That means you might not be able to get your check on Friday. You can't get your check. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your bills. That's most likely what they're going to do. If you have been noticing that you've been getting a lot more spam calls or a lot more of those texts where they ask you to close it and then hit Y and reply and all that, these are the type of cyber attacks that are happening. Can you imagine if you go to the bank and your whole bank account is wiped out? And again, this is not our war. At least they could have gave us the ability to vote if we wanted to get in this. If they say Iran has nuclear weapons and they can prove it through Congress, then they would have said, okay, we backing you up. But they acted without Congress knowledge. Now the rest of it says, America would be a cyber attack targeting critical infrastructures like the energy grid or government networks, which Social Security, your checks, your banks. This approach allows them to disrupt the U.S. without needing physical presence. So they can keep telling us that there's no way Iran could send missiles over here to damage us, but they could mess with our cyber technology, mess up your bank accounts so that you can't receive your checks or get paid. It's like, however, if we consider the hypothetical scenario where Iran has the capability to physically attack the U.S. mainland with intercontinental ballistic missiles, Washington, D.C. would likely be the first target. As the capital and seat of government, it holds significant symbolic and strategic values, aiming to disrupt command and control. Major cities like New York or military bases could be the target. But Washington, D.C. stands out due to its central role. That means anybody in Washington, D.C. can get it, and you wouldn't know when. That is crazy. Now, the rest of Grok, when you goes down, it says, the relationship between Iran and the United States have been marked by significant tension, particularly in recent weeks with the U.S. launching strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. It says, Iran's military arsenal includes a significant amount of ballistic missiles, estimated at 3,000, with ranges up to 2,000 kilometers. That means they have 3,000 missiles that they could decide to shoot off until they decide if they want to do a ceasefire or a peace treaty. They just have rockets. It says the U.S. Intelligence Committee assesses that Iran could potentially develop a military variable or intercontinental ballistic missile by 2035. We attacked Iran now, saying that they have nuclear capability. They are 30 years away. This is ridiculous. But it says, however, Iran has demonstrated advanced cyber capabilities with the history of targeting U.S. critical infrastructure and military institutions, government networks. That's why I'm saying, if they wanted to, they could attack our bank accounts. They could take away your money, and there is nothing you could do about it. No one's going to pay your rent. This is not COVID. The government's not going to send you money. They're trying to take away benefits and money. You would just be out of money, housing, and you would be homeless because we attacked Iran and they will attack us by messing with our banks. We have a metro system that runs on automatic trains. Can you imagine if they attacked the metro system network and these trains ran without being able to be stopped and there's nothing we could do about it? This is crazy. Here's the other one. It says, given Iran's inability to directly attack the U.S. mainland with conventional weapons, the most plausible first wave would be cyber attacks. Recent advisors from the Department of Homeland Security warned of low-value cyber attacks against U.S. networks by pro-Iranian hacktivists and potential attacks by state-affiliated actors, especially following the U.S. strikes on Iran. Targets include energy grids, financial systems, and government networks. Folks, I'm not talking to you as if this is some kind of conspiracy thing. This says it right here by Grok. This is Twitter. This is President Trump's BFF. This is what Grok is saying, that they will attack us, our financial systems. That means take away your checks, take away your money. If you don't have any savings, that's why I say if you have money in the bank, go take some money out the bank now so that you are able to survive this if they shut down our banks and our ATMs. They said with experts noting potential for ransomware and wiper malware attacks. Wiper, which means it could wipe out your bank accounts, wipe out your information. This approach aligns with Iran's strategy for a systematic metric warfare, compensating for conventional weapons shortcoming through cyber operations. The recent outage of President Trump's Truth Social platform, claimed by pro-Iran activist group, exemplifies their capability to disrupt high-profile targets. Now, again, this is supposed to be hypothetical scenario. And it says, now, if we did entertain the hypothetical scenario where Iran possessed ICBMs capable of reaching the U.S. mainland, strategic targets would be selected basis of military and political significance. I mean, we know that. Research suggests the major cities and military inspirations would be prime target. A Newsweek article highlights potential targets include, of course, Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Now, don't get me wrong, but doesn't that seem like that's all the places where the No Kings protests had the largest people come out? And then here it is that Grok writes that these are most likely the cities that would be attacked first if Iran had nuclear missiles that could reach us. It says Washington, D.C. would likely be the first target due through the road. That means if it hit Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, all the suburbs would feel the impact of that attack. Other potential targets include New York City, a major economic hub. We already know what happened in New York. And military installations like NORAD in Colorado. Oh, my goodness gracious. Come on. It's almost 4th of July. We can't just sit back and relax. We all have to be hyper vigilant so that we can know what's happening.
Trump.
I'll tell you this. If you see someone on the metro or the bus or any transportation, if you see them put a backpack down, you make sure you say something. If you see something, say something. That's what they say. Make sure you let someone know you get away from there. Protect your family. And like I say, if you have any money or savings, you might want to go to the bank and you might want to pull it out in case of an emergency, because all it takes is one lucky hacker to get into the system and disrupt it. And before you know it, you can't get any money to pay any bills, to eat, to put gas in your car, to feed your children. And that's all I'm going to say. And this is Righties Rage. Subscribe. Come back